Hello, and welcome to Andrew Broussard Watercolors. Today, we're going to do a fast and loose watercolor landscape painting utilizing Vandyke brown. This one's from Winsor Newton. It is PR 101 and PBR 6. In front of me, I have about a 1x2 piece of paper. It measures about 7.5 by 15. And it would be cropped down to about 7 by 14. I'm going to use the Hake brush. I just coated the paper with water, 90-pound Stonehenge toned, and we're going to get started. I'm going to paint this as fast and loose as possible while exploring the tonal values of this pigment. As always, you're always welcome to follow along with any one of the paintings. And you have my express permission to sign your name and sell anything you do when you follow along. I want you guys to be successful or at least have fun with art. And after a while, you're going to have a pile of paintings. And it'd be nice to send them off to somebody else so that they can look at them, enjoy them, and hang them up. If you like this content, I have the Patreon down below where you can subscribe and have exclusive content. I think there's over 80 videos there now. And I take that money from there and use it to support the channel and do more videos. Okay. This is a composition that I was exploring the other day, and I kind of messed it up a little bit. I put some stuff in the foreground that I really didn't want to, but that's the great thing about watercolor is you can go really fast with it and just experiment with a different one again. So one of the things I'm experimenting with is this Hake brush stroke that's leading up into this mass right here. This pigment has some granulation to it. In fact, let's lift it in some spots using the paper towel to get some texture going. So you can see what the extreme lift looks like. Some tubes, sorry, I dropped my bottle of water. Some tubes will kind of have some different tones show through whenever you're lifting. With this, I found that you'll get the PR 101, the synthetic rust, show through when you lift. Let's see if we could find a spot to do that. So it has more of a reddish tone right there. I'm not sure how well that shows through, but that's what's happening. Now what I'm doing here is flattening my paper. As it absorbs the water, it starts to buckle. And if you're like me and have long hair and a beard, you're going to have oils on your hands from those. If you're somebody that uses hair product, skin product, lotion, you'll have that as well. So just touching the paper with your hands is going to cause an area of resist, and it just makes it difficult to work with. Let's see, there we go. Now with this technique, you find yourself putting out pretty big quantities of pigment, or kind of going through quite a bit, which, since you're using one pigment and working wet and wet, you're pushing a lot around. And once you're only using one tube, so you're always just pulling from that. So just be aware of that, and probably start off with the student grade paints with these explorations. I, over time, have amassed some more expensive paints. These were from when Hobby Lobby had all of the Winsor Newton on sale, on clearance. Then once in a while, when I order paper online, I'll add some Daniel Smith pigments or some Da Vinci brand, just different things. So anyway, granulation a little bit, not super crazy. There's a slight red when you lift it due to the PR 101. I did notice a tonal shift in the past working with this tube, meaning that once I dry it, it gets kind of lighter. And I think there's a whole bunch of different Vandyke browns on the market. In fact, it's kind of something you can mix on your own. And that might be worth experimenting. Let's see. I was thinking about scraping, but honestly, I'm liking the feel so far, so we'll see where we're at. It reminds me very much of the landscape etchings by Rembrandt. Speaking of which, I haven't watched an art documentary in a while, so maybe a good Rembrandt one would be up. Okay, I'm just looking through the lens, seeing where we're at. By the way, this video is after that Arctic blast that came down. And we have this weekend a few more chilly days. So hopefully y'all are doing good and making it through all that. The videos that I filmed during those days were pretty funny since I was in the art room and it was very cold. And I had to use the space heater to dry off my paintings. So the blow dryer and the space heater would trip the circuit breaker. Every time I do this one, I keep on wanting to build up this foreground here. And I'm not sure what is leading me towards that. I think I want to maybe darken right in here. Pull up a little bit more light. Have this light, have the brush strokes come up and over, bringing the eye into the spot. Let's see. I think I will give in and do a little bit of scraping. Well, I couldn't find my little scraper. I have a few around. I have one that was made by Mr. Mark. I just don't have them on hand at the moment. So what I'm going to do is instead play with the #1 rigger and put in some tree trunks. Just some branches, just some little effects. And they're going to soften and blend in because the area is still wet, so it's just going out and diffusing. Wanted a little bit more in here for a little bit of shadow. Can I scrape with the back here? There we go. So it's not perfectly down to the paper, and this is a silver black velvet and it's rounded. We're getting some marks pulled out. That's good. A little bit stronger pigment. Getting a little bit more interest in this center of interest. Using straight from the tube. Now it's not dry, but it's working well enough. Okay. In fact, I am kind of indenting into the paper a little bit, but this is giving some interesting marks. It's not something I really use, but it looks like something that I can implement. In fact, speaking of Rembrandt, there's a small self-portrait of him that was an etching, and I believe he had those type of marks in it for his hair itself. Let's put some foreground elements a little bit stronger. Almost dry brushing it. Some interesting effects. We see just a lot of different values that are possible. We see a lot of different hues that are kind of shining through. There's the reds that I was talking about. This almost has a raw umberish vibe in some spots. So, very beautiful tube. Let's see where we're at. Okay, let's grab the hake. Just building up around it. I want some lighter values. I just need variation in this tree. And I had pulled out in this spot the water. Let's bring out a small little guy coming up over here. I'm going to try to get a little bit darker right in here, just using the brush on its side. And I'm just going to use the back of this brush to move clumps of pigment around. This is coming closer to us, so we have a lot more texture. feel a little too loose over here. I want to bring up this tree mass, or bushes, or whatever you want to call it. And let's add some gentle dry brush on top. Add a little bit of scrape, see if we can get some extra marks in there. Let's just let it kind of drag along, skipping along, and moving in a very calligraphy type manner. I am standing up right now so I can see it better. And Percy Poo came in, and she is sitting on my stool and trying to climb up on my back. I love reading all your cat stories and pet stories in the comments about how they affect your painting, or whether you can or not. Now I'm debating putting a shadow right here. I don't know if I want this to be water or grass. Let's grab some more pigment and explore. Percy, you can't put your nails on my back. There we go. She's purring while trying to call Percy. You can't do that. Let me grab Percy real quick so I can put her on the camera for y'all. Percy Poo, I'm picking you up. There we go. Look at the painting, Percy. This is what is paying for all your treats. This morning, so she is a carby Barbie. When I eat a bagel in the morning, she hops up onto the table and tries to steal it. So we wind up just sharing a bagel. She's the only one of the 3 cats that likes people food. I like the random marks that are happening. It's just helping build the scene. Okay, so we won't see the tonal shift as well because we've been working on this. When we pause this, I'm going to hit it with the blow dryer, and then you'll be able to see. All right, not a huge shift because of the moisture levels, but I think that I'll wind up doing another one in Vandyke Brown. And I have a few different brands that I have Vandyke Brown in, so we can do a comparison. And I could also explore mixing the Vandyke Brown itself. So I'm going to sign off. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, follow, and feel free to follow along. Tag me on social media. I'd like to see it. So take care and have a great day.